So it's December now. We've got November sales data, and I think what I'm seeing is fairly flat in most cases, maybe a little bit down, both in sales and in price. But that's a broad statement. Not every neighborhood's the same. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, for the most part, sales are definitely down lower month over month from October. We had a pretty brisk October compared to September or November, and prices, same thing. We've seen quite a drop in price in November. Year over year, not so much, but certainly downward trend. Funny stat that I saw, Oakville actually had the highest sale in the GTA in November, which was $5.6 million, which happened to be significantly higher than what we saw across the board. So when you look at the homes that have sold, more than ever now you want to look at the mix of homes, because we're having less sales.
Right.
One home can have such a profound impact on the overall results if you have one of those high-end luxury homes sell.
Well, it really skews the numbers.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
all the more reason you want to dig in and see exactly what's happening, and just don't look at that surface number.
Yeah, and that's why it matters to look really at your neighborhood. And of course, our newsletters show that. But
Well, even just in the neighborhoods, look at the homes that have sold in your neighborhood, not just what your neighborhood result is, because you can have a home in your neighborhood that's renovated and updated and everything else, and it got a great price for it.
still skews it.
But it's miles ahead of the value of everything else in the neighborhood. So yeah, you really want to drill down and say why those numbers are what they are.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having data that's specific to your community, detailed. I find my clients are really enjoying it. They're looking at that as if it's more valuable, and it is.
Absolutely. I mean, those are the conversations we're having today, because people are watching the market and they're watching the ups and downs and they're hearing the stuff in the news about interest rates and things like that. Your decision to sell your home shouldn't be based on what they're telling you in the news. It should be based on where your situation is, and you should be making decisions based on what's happening in your area and how it affects you. So really these newsletters we put out are not just about going out to tell people what's happening in the markets, help people make decisions. Whether they're selling today or 6 months or 6 years from now, it's to keep them informed and make educated decisions.
Yeah, and that information is tailored to their community.
You got
exactly what they need.
So to go back to where the market is, we're still on that downcline from where we were February 2022. We're still going down. Obviously, interest rates held yesterday, or last week, I guess, by the time people see this. Interest rates did hold, which is good. That's 3 months in a row we've had a hold in interest rates. Where is that going to go into the next several months? And are we going to see a big decline in 2024?
So we've had 8 rate announcements in 2023, 3 in a row with no change, 5 total with no change, and the 3 where there was a change, they were only a quarter point.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting dramatic change upward at this point, but we don't really know, and all we can talk about really is what's happened so far. I would like to think that 3 consecutive rate announcements with no change will start to have a positive effect on consumer confidence.
For sure.
Consumer confidence, it's a funny thing. I mean, StatsCan and others measure it, but you can kind of feel it, I think, in our business. And when the confidence isn't there, people aren't making decisions around moving. They're staying put. So I would like to see activity pick up, because you don't want inventory to stack up too high.
And that's starting.
It is starting.
I think we've officially crossed that line now into buyer's market.
Yes.
It pivots by neighborhood, obviously, but right now I think we've moved into that buyer's market pretty comfortably. Again, back to your sentiment about confidence around the interest rates. I think people are becoming comfortable, or not comfortable, I guess, but accustomed to where the rates are today. They've come to the realization that the 2% rates are no longer there anymore. I still think, though, from a financial perspective, if you look at the mortgages coming due and the number of mortgages coming due going forward over the next 36 months, we still have a big wave coming. And if the Bank of Canada doesn't start to bring the rates down, that is certainly going to put a lot of financial pressure on a lot of families. That will then in turn put pressure on the real estate market from an inventory perspective, and then that'll force downward pricing. So let's hope that the Bank of Canada does the right thing. They're in the position that they can lower rates so that more people can stay in the homes that they have and not be forced to be making a move.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some little things they can do, increase amortization and whatnot, but you don't really want to have to do that if you don't have to.
No, but I think right now, I mean, with everything that's going on, I find myself anyways, the conversations with people is not about, they might be calling because they're thinking about selling their home. And then there's 2 types of sellers then. The people that need to sell because of other circumstances, whether it's divorce or illness or health issues, things like that. There's those people that they're still going to need to buy and sell. And then there's people that are financially on the fence where this interest rate thing has really put a burden on them and their families, and they're looking at it. I find myself in those scenarios trying to coach people through how to keep their home as opposed to sell their home.
Yeah.
And it might be counterintuitive to real estate, but at the end of the day, the objective is to help people stay in the home they want, not just move them for the sake of moving. And we've got some great partners on the financial side, and I've had some great success with some mortgage brokers I work with that have been able to help people do that. So I encourage people to keep reaching out, and wherever we can offer those services, we have those partners to help them.
Yeah, and for buyers who maybe aren't in the market yet, it's a big opportunity. Prices are down, and you have to look at, from the perceived peak to where prices are today, that differential, and compare that to what the interest difference would be from maybe a rate that you might have enjoyed 2 years ago versus today. Right now, I believe in most cases, the discount in price far exceeds the difference in interest.
Well, not only that,
which makes it an opportunity.
You can renegotiate your mortgage down the road.
Yeah.
Right? You can get a lower mortgage rate or at a renewal point if rates start to drop. But you can't go back to the buyer or to the seller and say, hey, can you give me back some of that money? Pricing's come down.
It doesn't work
right?
like that, no.
Nor can they come to you down the road and say, hey, listen, I want more money because your house, I sold you my house too cheap.
Right.
So you want to make sure, again, buying a house is not just based on one factor. It's based on a number, and you got to weigh them all together to see what the best net result is going to be.
Yeah, and as I said, I think the discounts out there right now compared to higher prices we've seen over the last couple of years are significant, and that to me is an opportunity.
I agree.
The other thing is those who maybe already have a home, and chances are, more often than not, a seller is also a buyer. If they are thinking about making a change, and yes, we haven't seen a lot of arbitrary decisions. Most decisions people are making now are out of necessity, like you said. Whether it's a divorce or somebody's passed away or power of attorney situation, whatever it may be. But if that's not the case, and you are looking to upgrade, again, it's a great opportunity. The key, though, is making sure that you align your purchase and your sale as closely together as possible, so there's no opportunity or little opportunity for things to go sideways in between. You want to buy and sell in the same market.
Yes, at least to try and keep it neutral.
Yeah.
Right, and if you happen to sell when it's a little bit of an uptick, and you're a couple of months down the road, you're into that buy position and the market softened again, then you pick up the advantage there. But it can swing either way. You just
For sure.
keeping it as tight as possible negates any of those risks.